We still have a month left in the college football season, but we're getting a better understanding of which teams are legitimate playoff contenders. Every week, there's a number of teams that get eliminated from contention. By my count, there are still 11 teams who have a realistic shot of reaching the college football playoff. Last week, I had 14, meaning there were 3 teams eliminated from contention. Missouri, Oklahoma, and LSU all lost this weekend, so I have them falling out of the playoff picture. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the 11 teams I believe are still alive and looking at what needs to go right for them to make the college football playoff. We'll start with Georgia, who has one of the more difficult remaining schedules in all of college football. They take on number 10 Ole Miss this weekend, and next week go on the road to take on number 17 Tennessee. The good thing for Georgia is they've pretty much already locked up a spot in the SEC title game. It's not official, but if they get a win these next 2 weeks, they're officially in. If that's the case, Georgia can afford one loss, whether it's in the regular season or whether it's in that SEC title game. I think what they've done the last 2 seasons and the fact that they'll be a one-loss team is more than enough to get them back to the playoff. Michigan has their first true test of the season all the way in week 11. They'll go on the road to take on number 11 Penn State this weekend. As of right now, Michigan is undefeated and they're looking like a playoff team, but if they lose this weekend to the first true tough opponent they've played, their chances are going to take a massive hit. Now, if they do lose this weekend, they are going to have another opportunity to boost their chances as they'll take on number 1 Ohio State. But for Michigan, it seems really hard for them to get in if they lose a game in the regular season. Ohio State chances are a little bit easier just because they have a stronger resume than Michigan does. As of right now, Ohio State has a victory over a ranked Notre Dame team and a victory over a ranked Penn State team. Plus, they closed their season on the road in Michigan, so they'll have a chance to pick up a third ranked victory. I think Ohio State still needs to win out, but if they drop that game to Michigan or lose in the Big Ten title game, I think they're going to have an easier chance than Michigan will. Although Florida State is undefeated, I actually don't think they can afford a loss the rest of the way. The rest of their schedule is pretty easy as they don't play a ranked opponent the rest of the way. As of right now, it's looking like they're going to play Louisville in the ACC title game. But with all of these teams still hanging around, I really think Florida State needs to win out. I mean, if they go undefeated in the regular season but lose in the ACC title game, I could see a team like the Pac-12 title winner or maybe Texas or Alabama potentially leapfrogging over them. So for Florida State, I really think they got to finish the season undefeated. Speaking of needing to finish the season undefeated, let's take a look at Washington. They're 9-0 this season, but their remaining schedule is really difficult. They still got to take on number 18 Utah, number 16 Oregon State, and Washington State. Not to mention, they're likely going to be playing a top 6 team in Oregon in the Pac-12 title game. If Washington drops a game in these final weeks, they're going to drop a couple of spots. Or if they fall in the Pac-12 title game, they're going to fall a couple spots as well. Considering where they're sitting right now, I don't think they can afford a loss. They're going to need a lot of help from everyone else to get them into the playoff. So for Washington, just win out and don't worry about it. We're getting to the point now where all of these remaining teams actually have to win out because they have one loss. Oregon has ranked matchups against USC and Oregon State, plus a likely matchup against Washington in the Pac-12 title game. If Oregon wins out the rest of the way and finishes the season with only one loss, I think they're more than deserving of being a playoff team, considering their only loss would be a 3-point game on the road to a top 10 Washington team. I mean, if you watched my video from the other day, you would know that I have Oregon as a top 4 team currently. Texas had their playoff hopes somehow stay alive this weekend as they escaped with a 3-point victory against Kansas State in overtime, because the rest of their schedule is very favorable. They don't play a ranked opponent the rest of the way, and with Oklahoma losing this weekend, it looks like they're probably going to play Oklahoma State in the Big 12 title game. That's still going to be a pretty tough matchup, but the good thing is Oklahoma State might be ranked inside the top 15 for that game. So if they take them down, that'll be another resume boosting win for Texas. If the Longhorns are able to win out and win the Big 12, it seems like it's going to be impossible to keep them out of the college football playoff with having only one loss and winning the Big 12. Plus, they'll have victories over ranked opponents like Oklahoma State, Kansas State, and most notably, Alabama. Speaking of Alabama, their chances are still alive as they took down number 14 LSU this weekend. The rest of their schedule for the regular season is very winnable, so it's all going to come down to what happens in the SEC title game. It looks like they're going to take on Georgia, so if they take down an undefeated Bulldogs team, then I think Alabama gets in. Their only loss of the season would be to Texas all the way back in week 2, and they'd be a one-loss SEC team with ranked victories over Tennessee, LSU, Ole Miss, and most importantly, Alabama. So if the Tide win out, I don't know how you can keep them out of the playoff. Before we get to the rest of my video, I'd like to share with you guys how you can win money and make the college football season even more exciting. I've partnered with Underdog Fantasy to bring you this amazing deal. If you download the Underdog Fantasy app and use promo code Harris, they'll match your first deposit up to $500. Yep, they're giving you up to $500 of free money. I've had a lot of success recently with college football and the NFL, and you can do the exact same with Underdog Fantasy. So make sure to use promo code Harris for a 100% deposit match up to $500. You can also sign up using the link in my description as well. We're getting to the point now where things get really difficult even if you're able to win out. Penn State has one loss on the season, but they do take on number 3 Michigan at home this weekend. If they're able to win out, they'll have a shot at reaching the Big Ten title game. They will need a little help from Ohio State considering the Buckeyes own the tiebreaker, but as of right now, Penn State chances are still alive. They just gotta go undefeated and hope they get a little chaos from teams around them. The same could be said for Ole Miss, who only has one loss on the season, and it came to Alabama over a month ago. The Rebels have a great chance of boosting their resume this weekend as they go on the road to take on number 2 Georgia. If they're able to knock off the Bulldogs, that'll be arguably the biggest and most impressive victory of any college football team this season. The only issue is that Alabama owns the tiebreaker over Ole Miss, so the Rebels are going to have to win out, and they're going to have Alabama drop their 2 remaining SEC games. Again, not impossible by any stretch, but that's asking for quite a lot. We'll wrap things up with Louisville, who is currently 8-1 on the season. Their loss is probably the worst loss of any team on today's video, as they lost by 17 points to Pittsburgh. Still, they're in the driver's seat, and it looks like they're going to reach the ACC title game. The remaining 3 games are very winnable, so I think they're going to finish the regular season 11-1. It looks like they're going to take on Florida State for the ACC championship. Now, if Florida State is still undefeated and ranked 3 or 4, that'll be a massive win for Louisville. But considering where they're ranked at the moment, they're going to have to climb up a lot of spots and have a lot of teams in front of them lose out. I think this is the least likely team of reaching the playoff in today's video, but again, they're still alive because they have one loss and they have a chance to pick up one of the best victories by taking down Florida State in that ACC title game. Still, if the Cardinals are a one-loss ACC champion, do you really see them getting in over a lot of the teams we talked about today? I mean, sure, it can happen, but I think it's very, very unlikely. Well, those are the 11 teams I think still have a shot of reaching the college football playoff. Is there a team I didn't include that you believe is still on the hunt, or is there a team that I did include that should not have been on this list? Whoever it is, let me know in the comment section down below. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. I'm posting college football videos every day during the season, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.